Okay, I'm going to grab a couple tools. We'll pull a little bit of this apart and see if we get a leak down. I'm going to test the gun or not today. Not feeling it, but. Apparently 9/16 wrenches around the toolbox are rare right now. I'll show you something here. These stud girdles stabilize everything. That's what this does. So it stabilizes your rocker stud. So they're not flexing, less chance of breaking that. One thing here, if you notice that there's a little line on that one. So what would have happened at one time is somebody probably had this thing slid down a little bit too low. You slide it down too low, then when your rocker comes up, it'll hit the bottom of it. So yeah, anybody put them on sometime, food for thought. But yeah, we'll pull these ones off. Maybe. Holy moly. Holy moly. That is tight. Unless it got tight over time. Don't need a snipe. Here, I'll maybe move this over here so you don't have to look at my back. See a little bit better. So all you do is loosen them off. Some of them have a little spring in them. Some don't. Can't remember on these ones. Yeah, they did. They had a little spring right in here. So it'll actually help push them apart. These were kind of a cool one. I don't think they've made them for years. Jomar. Remember buying them years ago. But yeah, they got a little spring in there. Anyway, you just put them on, slide them down a bit, tighten them up. But yeah, I don't think you can buy them guys anymore. Okay, I didn't give myself much room here. My little area is a little bit on the messy side right now. So you will have to ignore that. If you don't mind. Got files on the floor. Okay. Take him out. We'll probably test springs while it's like this too and just see what they're like. I did find a roller cam on Marketplace. I think it's fairly close to something that I ran back in the day. It's a used crane roller. Looked in nice shape, so I might just pick it up. Okay, these are all 9/16 also. compressed. So the lobe must be up on it right now. Take a vacuum and vacuum up all the mouse crap there. Nice. Okay. Oh, these gold rockers are kind of nostalgic. That's what everybody ran back in the day, or it seemed like it. Crane gold roller rockers. These heads, when they usually had screw-in studs or guide plates, we put them in years ago. So we had to drill them all out and tap them. And so check all these out after. Make sure that the rollers all look good on them. Yeah, we had to machine these too back in the day, if you can see that. To machine them so they had clearance around the retainer, because we ran a bigger diameter spring. So yeah, I forgot about that too. Lots of little tricks we did back in the day to make stuff work. Makes it kind of neat though. So yeah, they got little needle bearings in them. I'll check them all after, make sure that they all seem like they're good, but I'm thinking they are. Compared to some of the lifts that everybody runs nowadays. One looks like it's been rubbing or hitting the retainer a little bit for whatever reason, so I'll have to check that out. You won't be able to use these push rods because we're going to be running a roller lifter, and these push rods will end up being too short. The roller lifter is a little bit taller lifter, so. Well, we got our first snowfall dump of the year this weekend. So I don't know what we got. 6 inches or something? We got a lot. Okay. Not sure if these would have the same springs in them that I ran or not. To test them and find out. Easier to do a leak down test this way. You know the valves are shut. If you need to tap on the valve to make sure it's seated, that there isn't a piece of junk in there, it's easier to do. You can just hit the retainer just with a rubber hammer. You don't have to get too aggressive, so you don't want to damage the end of the valve or anything, so you just use a rubber hammer and wrap it a couple times, and then it'll usually, if there's a piece of junk there, it'll seat. And this way it's not so inclined to turn the motor over or try and turn the motor over when you're putting air to it, if you've got everything undone. Sticky. Now that one, I would say, you can see in there, I think you can, I'll try and hold it to the camera, so you can see where we machined it out, but you can see a little rub mark right in the center of it. So it was still hitting the retainer. So I might have to take a die grinder in there and just clean these up a little bit, make sure that they don't hit the retainer, have everything hang up. Okay, sounds like Hirsch is knocking on the door. Come on. Oh boy. So yeah, with these, pretty well rub your finger across that roller. You can feel if they are rough. These ones actually feel like brand new, nice and smooth yet. And then they got a little retainer clip there. You can take these out. You used to be able to get a little kit and rebuild them. But if you roll them in your finger like that, same thing. You can feel if you got anything piling up. These ones actually, so far, anything I felt feels really good yet. So I think they're gonna be just fine. Maybe just from sitting, you can see that one's got a little mark on it. We'll probably just take a little bit of emery cloth or fine sandpaper and just scrub it off. Could be just a little rust mark or something. Nothing serious. Looks like a hardened push rod. They're not factory ones. Usually not black like that. Probably crane or something. Wouldn't have been ones I was using just because I didn't have a flat tappet cam in it, so they put that in there when it became a temporary roundy round motor. Okay, well, I turn on the compressor and grab the leak down tester and grab a rubber hammer and pull some plugs. And we leaked down a couple, you guys seen in the video. Yeah, I got a couple here with loose plugs already. And remember, we had to squirt a little bit of oil in them to kind of get them to seal up. Yeah, I think on this side. And then we had one, I think a third one in. Didn't quite read as good as the other ones did. But now that I can hit the top of the valve a little bit better, the retainer and that, maybe that's all it is a piece of junk there. I mean, I probably am going to tear it right down anyway, but I don't know. I'm going to look at bearings when I flip it over, see what the bearings look like. And you know what? If the rings are sealing and the bearings look good, then why would I tear it right down? I don't think I really need to. I'll check the springs on the heads and see what they're like. And if they seem all right, well then maybe we won't. Sometimes the person needs to, thinks he should tear this stuff down just to tear it down. But, okay, so this is a spring tester, and it'll tell me, oh yeah, as soon as I feel it open, yeah, I think that's about 250. More than maybe 225, 250, 275, no, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So 40, 60. That seems like about 260, which for seat pressure, I would think. Should be pretty good. I'll have to look up the specs of them. See what they're supposed to be. That one even looks higher. Maybe a little bit. I think about 260. See, some of these look like they're about 280. Now, I might have to get a new gauge, or I might be able to reset this gauge, I don't know. It doesn't quite zero for me anymore. It's not reading quite on zero for whatever reason. So I'll have to see what to do about that, but I'll have to look up the spec for these things. Yeah. Oh, they seem a little better than what I thought they might be. So I'll grab a leak down tester. Okay, just got to let the compressor pump up here a little bit. sure I got all the right stuff. So we'll let the compressor pump up here a minute or two. I showed you guys this before, so this one was, a Childs and Albert one that I had for years. I think I bought when I went to Pomona or something one time to the races, and I bought it for the funny car at the time. So I've had it for a long time. Works good. Very cool. What you got to do is, once you got over 100 pounds PSI with this thing, I'm going to zero the gauge. So I got to zero it. Then we can plug it in and see what we got for a leak. So it won't do any leaking until you plug it into that hose. We'll let that pump up for a minute. Pumping up, getting closer to zero. You got to have over 100 psi incoming air to run this thing. That compressor puts out about 150 psi. So, just grab a spark plug wrench here.